bring in now retired Brigadier General Blaine Holt, former U.S. Deputy Military Rep to NATO. Victoria Coates is Trump's former U.S. Trump's former Deputy National Security Advisor and VP for the Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy, the Heritage Foundation. Victoria, got a long list of resume there, and we appreciate that if you bringing it on. We'll start with you, Victoria, if we can, just reacting to the hostage that was rescued and how long he's been in that captivity, learning a little bit more about what he was allowed to do, what he wasn't allowed to do.
Well, Sean, I think you almost promoted me there, so I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a really stark example of what Hamas is all about. Al-Qaeda, as Daniel was just reporting, is a Bedouin Muslim. He's a Muslim. And so for them to take him, to treat him so abusively, and to keep him in the dark, meters and meters underground for almost a year, shows you they don't care. They don't care if they're killing Americans. They don't care if they're killing Muslims. What they want to do is kill anything associated with Israel or torment it, in the case of Al-Qaeda. So I think that should open everybody's eyes about what they're protesting for here in the United States when they're going on their pro-Hamas riots. That's the nature of this. It is not a liberation organization. This is an organization dedicated to destruction.
It's a great point. I think also, Victoria, that you mentioned his faith stood out to me. Obviously, he's not a Jewish man, Blaine, but he lives in Israel, and the news of his return and survival was met with joy and cheers and just relief by all Israelis. And so what does that tell you about these efforts to bring back all the hostages, regardless of their faiths or where they come from?
That's exactly right. So now you get to see a better window, Emma, into the culture that is Israeli culture. And it really does scratch the pattern of this resounding narrative that the other side tries to promote, which is this is some kind of genocide. And then they roll out these cooked numbers from the Gaza Ministry of Health, backed up by, a lot of interested parties around the world who want to promote a narrative that simply doesn't exist. The IDF did an amazing job, but what it tells me as a military officer is that their intelligence is getting better and better and better. This is the first hostage recovered in a tunnel system. And we don't know where all the hostages are, but I think that Mossad is getting a better picture of this every day. We would do well to help our ally as much as we can at this point in time, because I think that they're closing in on Hamas. And what we saw in the West Bank last night with 4 key terrorists, including one leader that's been on the list for a very long time, they're doing a service to the world by getting these people off the map.
Yeah, just trying to imagine, we'll get to that too, but trying to imagine, what if the IDF gave up their mission of rescuing hostages? We wouldn't see that man reunited with his family or becoming a grandfather. So it's amazing that they have kept stride in their mission and have not backed off. Victoria, speaking of the West Bank, a top Hamas official now calling for the resumption of suicide attacks in the West Bank. This is according to reports from Arabic media outlets. And you see this, the Times of Israel putting this out as well. How concerning is that?
No, it's very concerning because remember, Iran has this policy of creating a kind of 4 points of the compass series of threats against Israel. We have Hezbollah in the north, Hamas to the east. We have the Houthi to the south. But don't forget about West Bank. And the Iranians are training and equipping and funding militants in West Bank as well. One of the terrorists who was eliminated was actually released in a hostage swap earlier last year. And so that's the kind of people Hamas is getting for these poor innocents that have come out of in the hostage swaps. So I think West Bank deserves our urgent attention. Bear in mind the Biden-Harris administration has poured well over $1 billion taxpayer dollars into these Palestinian causes in West Bank in their first term. Imagine what they do in their second term, and that is funding this. And they have no explanation for it. They admit openly that it's going to be siphoned off to Hamas, and I just think that's shocking. And every American taxpayer needs to be, I think, up in arms over that.
Yeah, that's fascinating to consider. All of this happening overseas, but the role of American foreign policy is a key one. And we're trying to learn more about where Kamala Harris stands on that.